Welcome back, folks, to the random video blog where I, Graham G. Matthews, give my rambling thoughts on the wrestling world and everything else going on around me. And here in today's video blog, I want to talk about a topic I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. Usually here in the video blog, I talk about mostly WWE or past experiences with WWE, sometimes TNA, and that's about it. In watching stuff here on the YouTube channel and maybe even following me on Twitter, you would never know that I would watch that I do watch Lucha Underground, which in my opinion is probably the best thing going in wrestling right now. NXT is great. I enjoy Raw more often than not, which is a bold statement to make. TNA I watch, Ring of Honor. But in all the promotions I watch every single week, and as I said in this past week's hashtag AskGSM video, there is no promotion I look more forward to than Lucha Underground every single Wednesday. It's a great show, and I'm surprised more people aren't tuning in. And I'll get to that in just a second. But I've talked about this before in articles. I wrote an article about it, which I'll probably, if I forget, maybe it won't be down there, but I'll put a link down to it in the description box below. To an article that I wrote for Next Era Wrestling, my website, as to why you should watch Lucha Underground. That gives you more details as to why you should be watching. I just wanted to make a condensed version of that in today's video. And it was kind of timely since the promotion does wrap up. Season 1 wraps up in, I think, 2 weeks, about a little under 2 weeks. The season finale is on August 5th, so I did have to kind of get this video in, and of course it may be a little bit too late to be watching on the regular, but that's not stopping you from going back and watching older episodes. There are websites, watchwrestling.ch, and maybe even the Lucha El Rey channel. A lot of people don't get the Lucha El Rey channel, which is completely cool. I don't even get it, but I do go out of my way to watch a show every single week. It's that good, and you should too. It's only an hour, which is why a lot of people call NXT their favorite wrestling show of the week. It's only an hour long. It's not 3 like Raw. It's not 2 like even like SmackDown or Impact or whatever. And that's why Ring of Honor, NXT, and Lucha Underground every single Wednesday night are my personal favorite shows to watch, because they're so short, they're kept short and sweet, and they pack a lot into just 1 hour, and that's why they're so great to watch. But Lucha Underground specifically is not like NXT, and it's not like Ring of Honor, for better or for worse, but and it's different for everybody. Some people have tried it and they don't like it, which is okay. But to me, Lucha Underground is a real, true alternative. You know, not you people, but a lot of people watch Raw and SmackDown and Impact, and they don't like what they see. Like I said, that's completely cool. You're not going to like everything you watch when it comes to wrestling every single week. But the great thing about wrestling in 2015, while it might not be the Attitude Era or the territories or anything like that, it is kind of like the territories in the way that there are different things to choose from. If you don't like Raw or SmackDown, you can watch TNA. If you don't like TNA, you can always watch Ring of Honor. And if you don't like Ring of Honor, you can watch Lucha Underground. And I've talked about this before, and it's kind of hard to get across to people that have not watched the product, but it is kind of a reality show. Now, it's not a reality show in the form of a Tough Enough or a fucking Total Divas, which are, I don't want to call them trash because I do watch them. Tough Enough this season has not been stellar so far, but it's not like that at all. It's reality TV in the sense that it's not your typical pro wrestling promotion. They don't do live events. Their shows are never live. I don't even think the season finale is live. I thought it would be. I believe it's 2 hours, but I don't think it's live. I'm pretty sure it's already in the can. But they don't do live events. I don't even know if they sell merchandise. I know the people, the wrestlers there, sell their own merchandise through their own websites, but the company itself, I believe, doesn't sell their own merchandise. So it's not your typical, NX. It's not even your typical Ring of Honor or Impact. It's not a wrestling promotion per se, but it's produced like a wrestling organization. You get matches every single week, but the backstage segments are produced in a way that make them so much different than anything else you'll see today in pro wrestling nowadays. Just the way they're produced, and it comes across like a soap opera, which is basically what wrestling is. And the thing is with TNA, moreover than any other company, and especially with WWE to an extent, is that they don't know what they are. TNA does not have an identity, but with WWE, Vince specifically goes back and forth between sports entertainment, pro wrestling. What the hell are you? I think Vince knows what his company is. They have an identity, but they always kind of teeter the line between sports entertainment and pro wrestling. You can't, you got to go full on with one. You got to be full-fledged sports entertainment or pro wrestling. You can't teeter the line between the two because it just confuses fans. Lucha Underground, although some people don't like it, they have seen it and they don't enjoy, like, the one guy got murdered a couple weeks ago and that kind of got some complaints from some people. At least they know what they are and they stick to it. They don't hide their identity. And it basically is a telenova. It's almost essentially what it is, but it's so great because the wrestling is awesome week to week to week. And as I mentioned, a completely different style. NXT has some great wrestling, but the wrestling that I see on Lucha Underground, hence why it's the most exciting show to watch for me every single week, because the wrestling never ceases to impress me. Sometimes you'll get the occasional squash match for for effective reasons and getting somebody over, but it feels like every single week they have a big match. And not like in TNA, where I know I haven't watched this week's episode yet. I'm filming this on Wednesday night. I'm getting my wisdom teeth taken out on Thursday. I'm sure I wouldn't be able to talk on Thursday or Friday, so that's why I want to be safe in filming this now. But I saw on tap for Wednesday's episode of Impact that you had a First Blood match and a tables match and all this other shit for no reason. Like, just random matches with stipulations for no apparent reasons other than we need ratings, watch us for these hardcore matches. Lucha Underground, on the other hand, they build up these feuds over the course of time, and it's a lot easier when you tape 5 or 6 shows at a time, as opposed to going, with WWE, you tape week to week, and sometimes, a lot of the times, especially recently, people get hurt, and you can never really book long term. I understand that. With Lucha Underground, it's a little different. But still, they have their feuds. They don't, ignore certain logic gaps and stuff like that. Everything makes sense. Everything serves a purpose. Unlike in TNA, or when you're watching Raw or SmackDown or whatever, you won't watch a storyline and see different things fall out of sequence. Everything serves a purpose. In the end, each and every single feud at least makes sense. Everything makes sense by the end of it. All the matches serve their purposes too. They have the culmination of feuds. They have different stipulations. They had a Great Consequences match, which is essentially their version of a casket match a couple months ago, which was awesome to see. They had an Ultima Lucha match, or that's the name of their not pay-per-view, but the final special coming up in a couple weeks, Ultima Lucha, and a couple other crazy match types that they call different things. Last Man Standing, All Night Long, which is their version of Iron Man match, which is great, but everything that happens on that show, something even that was mentioned earlier on in the season, back in October, it all ties together, and I'm sure that's why I'm looking forward to Ultima Lucha more than anything else, even more so than I was looking forward to Battleground a couple weeks ago, or this past week, because this season is wrapping up almost 9 months of hard work and storylines and whatever. Everything's going to make sense in the end. They have a previously on Lucha Underground kind of thing, that if you weren't tuning into last week or previous episodes, they catch you up. And like I said, it's never too late. I mean, if you start watching now until the season finale in 2 weeks, we only have 2 episodes left, then you will be a little lost. But if you do go back and not watch every single episode, although if you want to, feel free. I'm sure there's websites out there that have every single episode to date. You're not going to regret it. It's a great promotion. They have some of the best wrestling, if not the best wrestling, week to week to week. It's so awesome. I know I can't help but praise it. But even when it first started, I mean, I watch so much wrestling as it is. I watch, Raw, SmackDown, Impact, Ring of Honor now. I didn't at that time, but with so much wrestling week to week, I didn't figure I would have time to kind of fit in Lucha Underground. I didn't know what it was. I didn't think I was going to like it. But in watching it, I think it came out, I think the first episode might have been on October 29th, that Wednesday, and a lot of people were asking me, here on #AskGSM, or here on the channel on #AskGSM, in regards to whether I would watch it or not, in regards to whether I would give it a chance or cover it or whatever. And like I said, I was a little skeptical at first because I didn't know what it would entail. Like, it's not like I don't watch, the Japanese wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling and Chikara and all these other indie promotions because I don't want to. I just don't have the time. So Lucha Underground, I checked out the first episode. I said I would. If I didn't like it, or at the very least, I would at least watch the premiere. The first episode with the main event of John Morrison, now known as Donnie Mundo in Lucha Underground, versus Prince Puma, who is currently their champion, their initial and current champion, who was crowned back in January, had an amazing main event match, and that hooked me from day one, and that was very wise of them to do that, to book that match on night one, because it's since hooked me, and I've seen every single episode since. It's been an amazing promotion. The things that make it different, like I said, it's really a true alternative to WWE, to TNA, to anything else you watch in wrestling nowadays in any other channel. are the backstage segments that I talked about before, the backstories of each talent. More often than not, the talent are introduced in a way that make them unique than everyone else in the roster. We know something about each guy, unlike on Raw. I'm not, trying to bash WWE. I'm just trying to show how different than WWE and all these other promotions. In Lucha Underground, you get a backstory as to who these people are. Sometimes it's a crazy backstory, and some people won't like that. Like, people will vanish in midair, or they'll kill characters off, which has actually happened here on the show, and it's nuts. But at least they give you a reason to care about each guy in the show. One thing that makes it different from not only WWE, but just any other promotion, period, is the fact they have intergender wrestling. Not intergender tag team matches like you see on Raw or whatever with the divas and the superstars and the male superstars. They will have the women face the men. At first I thought it was really cool because it was definitely something different. Now, I'm not against the idea. It's just kind of worn a little, grown tiresome, I guess. Not with Ivelisse. Ivelisse, who was on the 5th season of Tough Enough back in 2011. I loved her. She's a great talent, one of my favorites in the promotion right now, along with Son of Havoc, and God bless Pentagon Jr. That guy is incredible. Probably one of my favorite wrestlers, not only in that promotion, just period right now. That guy's awesome. But they'll have intergender matches with her, not with Katrina, who was Maxine in WWE, but also Sexy Star, who is a huge star down in AAA. She's not that great. I mean, I was kind of a fan of her at the beginning. I haven't soured on her, but she is not as polished in the ring as some of the other women in that promotion. And sometimes seeing her beat like a Pentagon Jr., for example, or another credible male superstar, not to sound sexist, but it came off weird. As someone, especially as someone as badass as Pentagon Jr. or as over as all these other guys that she was beating, it was a little strange. But still, like I said, it's something different. And that's what people beg for in 2015. If you watch it, you gave it a try, and you didn't like it, that's better, and I commend you for that. But there's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of wrestling fans that beg for something new, that beg for something different, and I'm telling you, that's exactly what Lucha Underground is. I should have made this video months ago telling you to watch it. Better late than never, but I did put up an article about this, basically going even more in depth with my thoughts on Lucha Underground up on the website, nextairwrestling.net. If you just type it in, on the website, Lucha Underground, why you should watch it, whatever, an article, it should be the first article that pops up in the search results, but I do cover it every single week. Like I said, the season finale is coming up on August 5th. I don't think it's live. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's already in the can, but I believe it's a 2-hour special. It should be on Lucha El Rey or El Rey Network, whatever. I don't get the channel. I'm sure you don't either, but you can catch the show every single week online. All these wrestling websites that upload it. It's well worth going out of your way to watch. Trust me. It's an hour-long show. If you watch online, it's only 43 minutes of your life. Not the 3 hours of Raw or the 2 hours of Impact or SmackDown or whatever. I'm telling you, it's a great promotion. You're going to love the wrestling. You're going to love the storylines as much as I do if you give it a shot. So I'm telling you, check it out. I cover the show every single week, as I mentioned, on my website, nextairwrestling.net, down in the description box below. And as I mentioned, a little late because the show's wrapping up in a couple weeks, but it is worth checking out all the past episodes and tune into the season finale. Even if you're not familiar with the story, if you're not familiar with the storylines, it should catch you up at the beginning of that episode. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to check out Lucha Underground every single Wednesday night, 8 o'clock on the El Rey Network. And also, I talked to one of the executive producers of the show back in February on Wrestle Rant Radio, kind of a cheap plug for that. So go on the website, nextairwrestling.net. It is available on the site. Just type in Chris Joseph, who is Big Dick Johnson in WWE. We had a great conversation about Lucha Underground, his time in WWE as a creative writer. Had an awesome time talking to him. You can catch that interview on Wrestle Rant Radio. It was like the February something episode. I think it was the very first episode in February of that year. So check that out. Check out the website. Follow me on Twitter for all my thoughts on Lucha Underground when I sometimes live tweet it on Wednesdays at WrestleRant. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/graham.gsum.matthews. And that's about it. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Botch there for a second. There's no botches in Lucha Underground, which I think is a perfect segue. I mean, there's some botches here and there, but it's a pretty polished promotion considering they're taped and their in-ring action is insane. So I do want to cover up my botch by mentioning that one final pitch for Lucha Underground. They're not telling me to say this. They're not paying me for this video. I'm just suggesting, for those people out there that are unaware of the promotion, there is some great wrestling out there, and it's called Lucha Underground. So in the meantime, folks, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you folks right back here on the Random Video Blog next Friday.